Going into the third month, the campaign so far has been decidedly one-sided. The Japanese have lost 2 cruiser battles very decisively, and our scout cruisers have performed admirably, as has the heavy cruiser. But there are still some major Japanese task forces in the area. There is a cruiser group that is currently moving back into port. So once again, we have our battle group stationed here, trying to intercept. Let's see if we are actually on a decent intercept course. I think we do need to move outside of the minefield, however. So let's get out of the minefield and see that that should be an intercept course that we can take. The Japanese have some mine laying capability here, and it looks like the fleet is deciding to stay in the safety of the port. That said, that single battleship, we still have reports that it is out of the coast of Japan. So we've got the Colorado's battle group moving in, trying to intercept her, and that would be a major catch. The Idaho and the New Mexico are chasing after the battle group that is moving south. So we will see if we can manage to intercept them. But given the speed of the American ships, I think that is relatively unlikely. But we'll try regardless. I'm kind of tempted to. Oh, this is a heavy cruiser group. 3 cruiser heavies, 7 light cruiser, 6 destroyers, and I've only got the Tuscaloosa, the Roanoke, and a couple of Wicks and John C. Butler classes destroyers here. So that would be somewhat underpowered, I think. That would be very, very ambitious trying to intercept that group. But I think they're heading to Sasebo anyway. Okay, so they're heading north, so that's not a problem. The SS7 has refueled, and we can move her. We can move her north as a. We can move her north as a picket, and get her back into station off the coast of Formosa. So far, the big battle has evaded us, and we still have cruiser actions on skirmishes on the sidelines. Seeing Chinese ships in the area is concerning, especially the recent downturn in relations. But let's start out with the Roanoke again, and the Evans against a heavy cruiser and another Japanese destroyer. So we'll see if she can repeat her feat and take down a second heavy cruiser. The Roanoke's radio direction finding has pointed us in the right course. Now it's just a matter of getting there. We do have the Evans with us here. I am gonna manual control the torpedoes on both ships, but I'm gonna have them in two different divisions because I will manage these separately. It's a relatively small engagement, but we're gonna have to find them first. Okay, we have established visual contact with a Japanese ship, and that is the cruiser. Yep, that's a distinctly Japanese design. Lots of torpedoes, the forward super firing turrets, and that is a lot of torpedo launchers. Yep, a dangerous ship, but we'll see if we can repeat our feat from the last time, and we'll set the Evans off on a little slightly different course for intercept, and the Roanoke is going to give chase. There is also a destroyer out there, if I remember correctly, so we might actually have to go onto an intercept course here and get the Evans turning a bit more to starboard. There we go. See if we can. Right now they're 13 kilometers away, so our guns are ineffective, but we'll get there. No idea yet where the destroyer is, but we'll get on an intercept course against the heavy cruiser. If the engagement with the Furutaka is any indication, then they should be able to start firing at us a little bit earlier than we are. I think the RDF is pointing towards a destroyer around here. Or maybe that's still the heavy cruiser that we're picking up, but we will see. Evans needs to be a little more outside. We'll see how we do this, but definitely try not to torpedo ourselves. That would be relatively fatal. Okay, she is again sailing away, but okay, I think she spotted the Evans. She is firing. Who's she firing at? No, she's firing at the Roanoke. There's the destroyer. Yeah, so the RDF has pointed us in the right direction, and once again the Japanese are setting us up for a tail chase. I'm not a fan of this. Well, at least now I have a destroyer with me, so worst case the Roanoke can smoke up and Evans can spot for her. But if there's a destroyer out there, the cruiser might be trying to bait us into torpedoes, so we do have to be a little careful here and see what we do. For now we'll close the range. And yeah, it's a repeat of the experience of last time. There comes the salvo in, and they are still falling short. Just like last time, the Furutaka was falling short as well. And Roanoke is opening up now with her forward guns. We'll see what she can get done on this distance. Last time we got lucky with our torpedo hits, but I'm not sure we can pull that off again. Well, we'll see. Destroyer is probably still lurking about here somewhere, and I think the cruiser is now starting to turn in. Okay, first hit. She is firing armor piercing, 6-inch armor piercing. That might be a little optimistic, but I think the secondaries have picked up the destroyer. I might actually be tempted to take on the destroyer first if we can actually spot it. But yeah, she is still taking fire from the cruiser. I'm considering a turn to port here for the Roanoke because I am concerned about torpedoes coming in this way. I don't think the cruiser is in a position to torpedo us, but the destroyer might be. And I don't know what the torpedo range on these Japanese Japanese cruisers is and destroyers. Okay, we've got a secondary explosion. So we are, but I think it is time for a turn. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to smoke up with the Roanoke. Yep, there come the torpedoes. I was right. And I am going to... oh, that's a lot of torpedoes. Yeah, that was the destroyer. So I was correct. Hard turn to port. And I am going to loosen the torpedoes from here. There comes another torpedo spread. That must have been from the cruiser. So they've both been targeting the Roanoke. So we'll go on a parallel course. We avoid the torpedoes. I think the Evans is fine. And I think what I'll try is line up for a cross drop between the two. So Roanoke torpedoes away at the cruiser. And Evans torpedoes smoke up as well and torpedoes away at the cruiser too. And then Roanoke is going to have to turn out from here, and we're going to get her to turn around and get the torpedoes away from the other side. She has a fair amount of both of them have a fair amount of torpedoes, and Roanoke is managing to land some hits now. There's still the destroyer out there, but she has gotten torpedoes away. And I think Evans has got torpedoes away as well. So we'll get Evans to turn as well, and she can get torpedoes away from the other side. And the same goes for the Roanoke. So go into a full turn and get the torpedoes away from the other side too. First spread is... I think she's going to be able to dodge that. Yeah, she was able to dodge that, unfortunately. So Roanoke's sent out the second spread of torpedoes. Now stay the course. And Evans is still on the turn. We'll see if we can manage to land some torpedo hits, or if this cruiser is too maneuverable to make that happen. Otherwise, yeah, I think we landed 2 torpedo hits. This must have been the Evans torpedoes coming in from the rear. Yep, that was the cross drop from the Evans that has hit her there. I think the other torpedoes from the Roanoke are going to miss, And oh, has she launched at the Evans? She might have. Yeah, she has launched a lot of torpedoes at Evans. The second torpedo spread from Evans is going to miss as well. So let's switch off the torpedoes again. And we'll see if we can finish off the heavy cruiser. He's definitely the bigger threat here. But these 2 torpedo hits from the Evans might have been relatively beneficial here, and just have to make sure Evans keeps her distance, because these guns can probably mess her up pretty badly. So now we'll just try to yeah, there comes some more torpedo. Oh, she's a lot of torpedoes. Okay, Roanoke needs to turn in again, and Evans as well. Turn into the torpedoes. Unfortunately, that gets us dangerously close to the enemy cruiser. I'm not a fan of this, but I do think I think I will try to not get that close. We just have to get behind the torpedoes. Roanoke, yep, go on a straight course and keep the fire up. The smoke screen is hindering us. Our own smoke screen is hindering us a bit here. But okay, torpedoes have passed. I definitely want Evans to be further away. So, although she is firing at the Roanoke now, and that was unpleasantly close. I'm not sure where the destroyer is. Enemy destroyer could be launching torpedoes as well here. Open up the distance a bit more, please. We do have a relatively good solution. Maybe, I mean, we could risk it to get a couple shots off, but I want to avoid. Yeah, that wasn't bad. A couple of partial penetrations and fires, but at this distance, I'm not so certain about the guns, or about the Roanoke's armor being able to defeat the gunfire from that heavy cruiser. So let's keep our distance. Evans can track her from here. And Roanoke is opening up the angles. Hasn't taken a hit so far. Been lucky. Still don't know where that destroyer is. But the I think destroyer is somewhere to over here still. Okay, so Evans is peppering that thing with high explosive. And she is starting to burn quite heavily. Our brave little scout cruiser is going in guns blazing, although I find that a little too close for comfort. We might be able to cross the T here. Let's see. Evans can just circle around, keep the fire up, and Roanoke is trying. I don't think these things have forward torpedoes, so she should not have any torpedo angles. We'll see if she can cross the T and just absolutely shred that thing with high explosive. So that might be. She's got the 6-inch and the 3-inch guns on target. So that it's a risk from the forward turret, but I think at this point that heavy cruiser has taken so much damage that we can hopefully do that without too much risk of return fire. And Evans can turn a little bit more in and start looking for that. There's the other destroyer, but once the heavy cruiser is out of the way, the destroyer is not a massive threat anymore. Yeah, the Japanese sailors are still returning fire, but even at these ranges, I think at this point it's going to be ineffective, just due to the amount of damage that she's taken and the amount of fires that are burning there. She is turning broadside. May have to turn out there. I just want to get a good 6-inch salvo in, if possible. I just have to get lucky once with these guns, but so far their gunnery is obviously suffering from the whole ship being on fire, pretty much. And now we're opening up the angles again anyway. So We're gonna circle him for now. The destroyer is coming to help. Is coming in to help, but I don't think it's gonna make a massive difference. Yeah, she hasn't landed. She hasn't landed hit successfully here. Not seeing a lot of secondary gunfire from this thing, so maybe she's really just torpedoes and the 8. No, there's some of it coming in, but it's. I mean, we've probably blown up a couple of the secondaries as well. So I think. I think she's lost rudder control too. Let's keep the fire. Let's keep circling. Keep the fire up, and try to finish her off before the destroyer gets there. Destroyer is getting a little closer now and starting to light up the Evans. So I'm going to turn Evans around and just make sure that we're focusing our fire on the heavy cruiser. Roanoke's still blazing away with the 6-inch and 3-inch guns, and is doing damage. But the cruiser is refusing to go down at this point. Might have to hammer it a little bit more. But I think she's pretty much dead in the water, to be honest. Yeah, I don't think she's combat effective anymore. So now it's just a matter of finishing off that heavy cruiser. Well done, Roanoke. That would be another notch in your gunnery director. Okay, adjust course slightly. Evans is turning around, is coming back on. And yeah, I think the cruiser is gonna go down. I don't think there's anything left here that she can do in terms of fighting back. And I think that's about it. Are we going to get a confirmation of her sinking anytime soon? Evans needs to turn in. I think Evans can start taking the enemy destroyer under fire here. Everyone's shooting at Roanoke, interestingly enough. The destroyer is not going after the Evans. Not sure if they still have torpedoes left. But that cruiser is just refusing to sink. We are peppering it with high explosive shells. Now she's sinking. Okay, the Tsurugi is sinking, confirmed sinking, which means Evans can perform a hard turn, and Roanoke can now start opening up at the destroyer, which appears to be sailing away. So we're going to give chase. Roanoke's a scout cruiser. She's a very fast little ship and a very brave little ship. Surprisingly effective. These things. I would have not imagined that. Oh, we've got torpedoes incoming. Oh, these were some extremely ambitious torpedoes, I would say. Where are they coming? Yeah, I think these were some extremely ambitious torpedoes. So I think Roanoke is safe to stay the course. And we have it's the Tsubaki. So let's pass by. On Evans. Evans is going for intercept. Roanoke's going to pass by on her side, and let's finish that thing off before she gets a chance to try that again with the torpedoes. So if Evans is going for intercept, she is going to have to go a little bit more in this direction. See if we can sandwich that ship. Yeah, that torpedo spread has missed. And Roanoke's gunners are starting to get the range, and I think with 6-inch guns, yep, she's smoking up, she's panicking. And she is starting to take fire, which means I think Evans should have torpedoes ready. So I'm not sure which side the torpedoes on are ready, but if she has torpedoes ready, then get them away. Otherwise, just finish her off with the guns, and Roanoke's coming in from the other side. I don't think she's gonna get the torpedoes away anymore, if she has any. But at this range, yeah, that's 8-inch guns. That's 6-inch gunfire for you. Actually, Evans do not fire torpedoes. I don't think we need to. Just finish her off with the guns. Save the torpedoes. And just, yeah, I think we can finish her off. Drop speed to 25 knots. And I think that should be pretty much it. And it's confirmed. The Tsubaki sinks as well. So another victory for the Roanoke. Very powerful scout cruiser in our fleet. And again, without losses. So quickly starting to become a star here in these screen actions.